Today we're responding to your comments on our $4 a day episode, and then we're going back to the supermarket to get even more bang for our buck. A few weeks back, we brought you an episode about how most people on SNAP, aka food stamps, have to eat on just $4 a day. We did our best to eat 3 meals for under $4 total. A lot of you had some criticism of our shopping choices, and it breaks down to this. Most people on SNAP aren't shopping each day with their $4, but instead buying weekly or monthly in bulk. Many people also pointed out that a lot of people on SNAP are living in more than one-person households, and therefore can share their funds to buy even better. So let's look at this again. $4 a day, bought in bulk, and to help me this time is Devin Alexander, who is a Biggest Loser chef and also a weight loss expert. Thank you so much for coming in, Devin.
My pleasure.
Okay, so this is the shopping we did. This is about a week's worth of food for a family of 3 who's on $4 a day. Now, to start off, when we did this episode before, when we were only shopping with $4, a ton of people were telling us to get beans and rice. That is like a staple for budget eating. So how do you think we did with these beans and rice?
You did great. And you know, beans really are a staple because they're so high in good protein. They're not processed at all. You can rehydrate these. And even for people who, you know, I've worked sometimes with people who live in earthquake country or other places where they might have hurricane, they have to abandon their houses. Like those things, even when you came back 6 months later, are okay, right, as long as you haven't hydrated them. So those are like a staple that must be had.
Awesome. And how are the nutrients on that, especially if someone was basing their diet on that almost completely?
I mean, in an ideal world, you'd be eating brown rice, but that usually costs a couple dollars extra. So unless you can get that in a bulk bin or something where it's really inexpensive, right, this really is a perfect option.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, we spent $10 here, which ended up being about 12% of our budget. Mm-hmm. And then this is our breakfast, which wasn't too bad either. And we did get some nice tortillas.
Yes. Now, when you're buying those, I think you shopped in a little bit of an upscale area.
Right.
When you're buying those, you want to get the kind that are just corn and salt, which also corn, water, and salt, which also tend to be even more inexpensive. These are like fancy hand rolled, some,
right,
you know, really kind of gourmet-ish, which is fine. And then bananas. Great. This is such a good option because you could actually throw together a shake, throw your bananas in the freezer, a couple of them, and then make an awesome smoothie from milk, orange juice, and bananas. Tastes delicious. The thing I would say is if your grocery store has the like manager special or the rack where you can get extra, bananas are a great item to get on sale because it, you know, when they have black specks on them, they're actually better in smoothies. I love that you got eggs. You could make a great breakfast
burrito.
Right, or taco or something like that. So awesome.
Okay, now here's our lunch.
Okay.
So we got the hamburger buns as well as the whole wheat bread. Not the best brand bread, but still wheat.
Yes, it's wheat, and you know, you could go wheat on the buns again if they're on sale, but you might not be able to get them. Sometimes also those, you know, when you get them home, freeze them, especially if you got the ones on the manager special rack. And if you have an option to get a big bulk bag, do it, because that's a good thing to freeze.
Awesome. And how about the tuna and the peanut butter and jelly that we have going on?
Tuna's great. You know, that's where you think about sales, because I know you paid a little more for tuna than I would pay at my grocery store for a sale for that kind of tuna. Mm-hmm. But again, like, think ahead. If you're not somewhere where you really can't buy a lot or you're not totally crunched for space, you can literally get, what is this, like 4 ounces or 5 ounces of lean protein for 50 cents most of the time. So that is such a perfect option. You know, put it on a hamburger bun and it's delish. And then the peanut butter and jelly, you want to try to go natural with that as much as you can. And I know on a budget that's tougher, but you have corn syrup in the peanut butter there and corn syrup in the jelly. You almost want to do most of your shopping for a month in advance because then you can get much bigger amounts.
Okay, and you actually suggested the carrots.
Yeah, carrots are a great, you know, so much beta carotene and great for your eyes, so many things. Plus they're crunchy and fun. They can add crunch to other things.
This ended up being about 50% of our total budget.
Okay.
So then the other 50% is dinner.
Yes.
So, and we actually got a decent amount of meat.
You got almost 10 pounds of lean protein. Now, granted, there are bones in the thighs, so you're not going to eat that, but most of the rest of it is actual edible protein. I always tell people, like, look at the grocery flyers that you get in the mail, because they always put that one thing on the front.
Right, the weekly special.
Right, to lure you into the store. A lot of times, like, these big bags of chicken will be $2 a pound, or chicken thighs will be 99 cents a pound.
Right.
And they're doing that to get you into their store, because they know you're going to do all your other shopping there.
And then, so we also got a head of lettuce and a little bit of salad dressing to try and make that work as well. Is this a smart choice?
It is. You know, you want to try to go darker lettuces. So if that's all you can get, that's all you can get, and it's better than nothing. Sometimes I call that a vehicle for salad dressing.
Right.
And then you want to do light salad dressing when you can, again, if they have it. But you notice you bought small containers of all of your, you know, you can get those big jugs of salsa, and they last for weeks if they're the kind that are actually in the center aisles as opposed to the fresh chopped tomatoes. Like, those would only last for a couple days, but those are so expensive anyway.
Sure.
Oh, and the peanuts, too. You can get big old bags of peanuts, which are a good snack. Like, replace those with the potato chips because they're really not that much more expensive.
Right.
Plus, you know, it takes a little time to eat them, so you don't go through them as quickly. And they're real food. You know, they're not processed at all.
Sure. They're just peanuts.
Right. And then potatoes. I love that you got a bag of potatoes.
Right. And these were the manager special. These were on sale. So we got this giant bag for 99 cents.
And you can do all sorts of cube them up. You know, there's so many different ways you can cook them to make variety out of them. They have so many nutrients, really high in fiber. The only reason potatoes have gotten a bad rap is because we Americans like to deep fry them or chop them with tons of cheese and sour cream and things. And I mean, just basic ketchup to me, you know, cut them into strips for your kids, bake them in the oven, and then dip them in ketchup. Or even I put, honestly,
garlic
ketchup in baked potatoes. Well, that's another good one,
Just a little bit of garlic salt. That's how I like them.
The other thing that I really love to recommend to people is try out the ethnic markets in your neighborhood, because at all of my local grocery chain stores, herbs tend to cost $1.99 per bunch, and with the exception of maybe parsley and cilantro. But when I go to the ethnic markets, they're literally, you can get a bunch of mint for 33 cents. And you can get, and look for your spices in plastic bags as opposed to the jarred ones, because again, the plastic packing, way cheaper, so then they charge a lot less.
Right.
It's a good way to go, because again, you could get chili powder and spice a lot of this up.
Right.
And be really delicious for like 69 cents as opposed to sometimes those jars are like
$5.
$6. Yeah.
I know. Whenever I like go to buy one of those, it's like a treat. I'm like, I feel good about myself, so I'm gonna splurge on a $5 thing of spice.
Yeah.
So that is good to know. So overall, how did we do? And is there anything nutritionally that we can strive to do better?
Well, I mean, you did it, is the thing. Like, this is, as I said, 10 pounds of protein in 1 week is a lot of food, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of protein. And that doesn't even include the eggs that have protein in them, which so you get good protein for your breakfast, or the beans, which are a great source of lean protein.
Sure.
You know, I would have loved to see a few more veggies. Like, those peppers are probably 99 cents each. So, you know, a head of spinach to add to your breakfast tacos would have been 99 cents. I'm sure that they, you know, you'd probably have a much greater amount of it. And so there's some other things like that again, like if we could have added veggies a couple more times, that would have been awesome.
Sure.
Now, obviously the pasta could be whole wheat, the cheese and the milk could be lighter. Right. But again, you know, for this kind of eating, when you're not eating such a great amount, it's really not that big a deal to have the full fat, which are all natural and that sort of thing.
Awesome. And how about this over a long period of time? Say someone was on this program for like 2 years. Is this enough nutrients? Do they need to be switching it out from week to week? What's your suggestion there?
Well, you obviously don't want to get in a boredom rut, but it's way more nutrient dense than, you know, going through the drive-through. I mean, if we're comparing it to that, this is like ding, 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 you won, you know, because this is food. You know what I mean? Most of this is real food that you don't get in the drive-throughs.
Sure.
I mean, could we improve a little bit? Sure, we could. You know, if you have a giant freezer, again, I mean, even a moderate-sized freezer, there are ways to make it even, you know, more nutrient savvy. And one of the other suggestions for that, if you do have the freezer space, is after Thanksgiving or the major holidays, they sometimes have tons of turkeys that are on fire sale. Oh, yeah. And they're already frozen, so they're not even losing quality. Throw a few of those in your freezer. You can get literally a 22-pound turkey for $5.
Sure. This is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you have any last pointers or tips for us?
I mean, I really encourage people to stay out of the drive-thru. If you don't have an education on nutrient-dense foods, then really try to do a little research, you know, especially with online now, or go to the local library and find out what foods are high in protein that are good for kids, or even ask your doctor for a list. Because you can take that list and go to the grocery store and find things like celery even, 99 cents for a big bunch. So you can really do a lot more than people think if you know, step away from the big bag of chips, and your kids will be able to focus in school, and it'll just be much better.
And where can people find out more information about you or follow what you're doing?
DevinAlexander.com, and also on Facebook, I'm Devin Alexander.
Awesome. Friend her on Facebook, guys. So I think this is a significant improvement over our last attempt, but it's far from perfect. Shopping on $4 a day is really tough, you guys. It's fine to comment in a vacuum on how people on SNAP should spend their money, but you have to remember that these families often have both adults working full-time. And while SNAP does pay for their food, it doesn't cover the rest of the essentials, such as toilet paper. We've really appreciated your comments on how you'd live on $4 a day and the stories of those of you who have. Remember, many SNAP recipients live in food deserts where inexpensive fruits and vegetables are just not available. Issues of food insecurity are nothing to dismiss, but you can take your place in the fight against hunger by clicking the links in the description below for actions around the film A Place at the Table. Thank you guys so much for joining us. For BFD, I'm Marisha Ray, and we'll see you next time.